You will appear in court in 2 days. You have found a lawyer. She's meeting with you today to prepare for your first court appearance. Remember to write down any questions you have.
So Tanya, I'm going to be your lawyer in this proceeding, and Brad, we're going to find you another lawyer, what we call a certificate lawyer, because in a child protection proceeding, I can't represent both parents, okay? So just to be clear, I'm Tanya's lawyer. For today's purposes, though, I will let you sit here and listen because we're going to talk just about the process.
I have some questions. How long is this whole thing going to go on for?
Well, it depends on each case, but usually they last at least a year, if not two, depending on the case and the age of the children. There are a number of stages in these proceedings, and this booklet that we have here will explain the 5 stages of the proceedings because the dates of the various court appearances are very important for you to keep track of, and each case has its own set of dates, okay? It is important to remember there are time limits in these proceedings, and every court appearance the clock is ticking, and you really need to understand that. So time is really, really important. For the purposes of today's meeting, we're going to be concentrating on the first 2 court appearances, which is the one at the 5-day court appearance and the 30-day court appearance. By law, the agency is required to appear in court 5 days after the children have been taken from your care. So if we look at the calendar here, the children were taken on June 11th. And as you can see, our court appearance is 2 days from today's date. So that will be what we call the 5-day court appearance. So, Tanya, the judge will not hear a lot of evidence at the first court appearance. The papers that have been filed by the agency, which they provided to you and you brought into my office today, will be before the judge. And we may file some papers as well, which are called affidavits. But the appearance isn't going to be any longer than 15 minutes, and the judge will decide on the basis of those papers whether the children should be returned to your care or whether the children will remain in the care of Child and Family Services for at least until the 30-day hearing, okay?
What about my kids? When can I see them?
Well, you'll be able to see the children. If the children are not returned to you, the judge will order that you have what we call access with the children and visits with the children. And shortly after court, the agency social worker will come to visit with you to discuss the schedule so that you will know when you see the children and the children will know when they see mom and dad as well.
And can I ask the judge to give them back to me?
Well, we certainly can ask the judge to give them back to you, but the issue that will be before the judge, whether it's safe to give the children back to you or not, and that's up to me and you to convince the judge whether we have the evidence to support the children being safely returned to your care.
Can my kids stay with my family?
Sure. The agency has an obligation to consider placement of your children with family members after they've been approved by the agency. And we can talk about that a little bit more after we've talked about this process, okay?
Everybody keeps telling me you can make a difference, right? How can I make a difference?
Well, one of the things you can do is start to cooperate with the agency and the agency social workers. One of the things you need to understand is the agency is involved in your life because there have been problems identified in your home. But what we can do is we can fix those problems that have been identified, and the children can be returned to you as soon as those problems can be fixed, and we can produce evidence to support that position. There are specific things in your case that have to be addressed between you and Brad, and the issues with respect to your mental health have to be addressed. We're going to have Brad deal with his addictions issues, and the children are probably going to need some counseling as well because the 2 of you have been fighting in the home in the presence of the children, and that's not good for children. Okay? So once we get to the 30-day hearing, you will have a better opportunity to tell the judge your side of the story because we'll have more time and we'll have more opportunity to gather information to support whatever it is that you would like to say to the court.
One key thing the judge will be looking for is that Brad and Tanya attend all their scheduled visits with the children. Focus on the children, no one else. Make the visits positive and loving. Cooperate. Attend all appointments with the service providers, and work on fixing the problems at home. Be in court whenever you are called to be there. You want to show child protection and the judge that there are positive family relationships in the home and that it is a safe place. No alcohol or drug abuse, no physical abuse, a healthy home for the kids to come back to. You should start working on some of these right away. This is how you can make a difference in how this turns out in the end.